Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just about, I need to get Jessie out, standing in the light there. That's typically me, is it not? I can see he's made a bit of mess because I was busy building, and I'll show you the contraption. It's a contraption, I must say. It's Jessie that I'm getting to, because I know, and I've switched the thing around. How I did that, I'll never know. But I know it's Jessie who's wanting to come out, and I am going to take him outside because the sun is still shining, in case he needs to do more than just the urate. So, Jessie, how are we going to do this, because I do know what you're like, and you're not the best at actually coming out. Well, you are. You're pretty good, but you wish to do it by yourself, and I will need two hands, will I not, come helping you to go where I want you to go and not where you want to go, which is through my computer. Come back this way, bud. Okay, I know, but if you come down, honestly, it would be so much easier on me. On the floor, dude. Can you come on down the floor? Look, the floor's cool, I promise you. Get that big booty off. Down this way. Oh, no, see, up is better. Up is somehow safer, somehow feels better to them, and of course doing it their own way. So I'm going to turn off. I'm going to get him. It's the only way I can do it, guys, and I will be back. Okay, I have got him with great difficulty, and don't squeeze my neck too hard, dude. I know you like to hang on pretty tight. Whoa, I forget. Whoa, that was pretty close. Oh no, see, you just need two people, and I have a bird that would happily fly on outside here with me and go for a fly. But I'm afraid she would not come back. Now, Jessie, we're going to have to find the last little bit of the sunshine over here because it's later in the afternoon. You can see, can you not? I have my garden beds built. Not full of soil yet, but they are built. I will get to the video with Jessie because I'm going to be discussing breeding. Well, not so much breeding because I don't do a lot of that, but I've got some plants planted, some lettuce and herbs and flowers. Yeah, just get them going, and hopefully I'll have the soil and everything in here, and there will be a herb garden built. Same, smaller box, but lower to the ground. But no, you can't climb on the camera, dude. So I thought I'd show you that before we get into the heavy subject, which will be quite a heavy subject and maybe a disagreeable one to a lot of people out there. Is the view of the grass really wonderful? So Jessie, okay, where are we gonna sit down, dude? No, you can't do that to my camera. You're too fat. Okay, don't pull my microphone thingy out either, will you? Hey? Oh man, you've really twisted Mum around here. Okay. Well, crawl on out. This thing, will you? Oh man, I must just keep on clicking the back of this thing. I might start again. Hi everybody. Well, I'm outside with Jessie. I did start a video, but I kept clicking a button and I kept clicking the camera view this way, that way and every other way, and right now he is in my microphone cord, so I'm just making sure he just keeps going, but he's kind of listening to those birds and yeah, still has his tail wrapped around my neck, you could say. Well, that's your safety, or your what do they call it, your blankie that you like to hang on to before you go wandering off, hey? So I brought Jessie outside because I noticed that he had done a urate thus far in his enclosure, so I'm thinking that he's become fair. Well, he was already, but I was so busy building something for the babies, well, not the babies but my smaller snakes, that I didn't forget about Jessie, but I was once again thinking to myself, I will, just hang in there, Jessie, I'll get you out. But today I'm going to talk about that subject of breeding, and not necessarily about breeding, because I am not in any way, shape or form experienced in that particular area of breeding snakes. So I wouldn't even bother to go there. I know what to do, I know how it all works, I know the whole box and dice of it, but it's not me and it's not who I am. But when it comes to breeder snakes, well, I think I've seen more than enough videos over the time of watching YouTube to see exactly the life of a snake that is brought to be a breeder. And am I going against breeders here? And it's very hard not to be going against breeders here by bringing up this subject and even discussing this subject, because they do not see themselves as doing anything wrong. They are breeders. They buy snakes because they're going to breed them, and that's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's complete, done, finished. I buy my snakes because I breed snakes. But pushing that to the side and coming back, because I'm all about the snakes, not the person. This isn't about a person or people. This is about snakes, their lives, what they have to live in captivity or end up having to live in captivity. And a breeder snake, as far as I'm concerned, has the worst end of the deal when it comes to living in captivity. And a lot of breeders are going to jump on me and say, you're wrong, my snakes are fit, my snakes are healthy, my snakes breed. And if they weren't, and all the rest of it, then they wouldn't breed. Well, I disagree with that. Snakes have a built-in natural instinct to breed, and that is what they'll do. You offer a male to them at the right time, and the female is of health to be able to do it, then she is going to breed. And of course, we make sure that they are healthy enough to breed, but they also make sure that they're healthy enough to breed out in the wild. Some, of course, don't get that choice, and a male will breed with them and so on. So there's a pause, I guess, there, in terms that we know our females are fit and healthy and can more often than not will have a great pregnancy and lay her eggs and all is good. Yes, that is true. Out in the wild, a female, yeah, a male will come along and yet she'll fall pregnant. And some are very young, way younger than we would breed them if they're in captivity. But I'm still talking about the life of a breeder, because her whole life and his whole life is about breeding, just breeding them. Nothing else. What their morph is, what they'll produce, and just how much money can be made from them. You know, yellow bellies, orange dreams, and so on, they're always going to be wanted by people because they're beautiful and they're just a one morph. So it isn't always about that it's got 5 genes or anything like that in it. So, you know, money can be made with just a 1 gene snake, but it's more about the quality of life that those snakes are actually living. And I do believe they get the raw end of the deal when it comes to going into somebody's life that is all they're going to do is breed that snake. And I don't think that any breeder can deny that that must be a terrible existence for them, being in a rack and tub system where they are watered and fed and kept clean. But apart from that, they're not really offered very much more than that in their life. And you know, I'm an enormous believer in enrichment and exercise and exploring, and I'm getting wet knees crawling across the ground, Jessie. But I am a great believer in that, and I know many people aren't, and many people do dispute me on that and say a snake just really wants to be left alone. We know that to be false. I didn't force Jesse out of his enclosure. He was at the door telling me he wanted to come out. Now, is that a snake that doesn't want to have anything to do with me because he knows coming out he's going to have something to do with me? He knows at some point I am going to touch him, pick him up, move him, whatever. And they don't forget, right? They don't forget. They know this. They are well aware of this, but yet they still come out. So nobody is ever going to be able to tell me that they don't like coming out, because I have seen the absolute opposite from big guys like Jesse that have been with me for, I don't know how long now, for 5 years, 4 years. But you know, even my little ones love to come out that weren't even a year old were willing to come out. People get hatchlings because they're going to breed them. And that is when they're really at a point in their life that they will accept a human or they won't accept a human, where they will accept our having some kind of relationship with them or not. And so many are bought, unboxed, thrown in a drawer, well, looked at to see just how beautiful they are, and we see the colours and what morph it is, but we don't get to see this. We don't get to see them ever outside, periscoping, and they will. Ball pythons, you name it, they will periscope to check things out. They don't get that opportunity. They don't get to be mentally stimulated. They don't get any of it. They get a life in a blacked out drawer Sometimes people offer drawers that, have some transparency, where they get a little bit of sunlight or light into them, but, a lot don't. They're shoved in this dark place. And I keep hearing, because that's what they like to. Well, maybe they do, but they don't like it all of the time. Because out in the wild, that is not where they spend their entire life, is sitting in a dark drawer. They don't. It doesn't matter the species. They do not spend their life in a dark place and don't move more than 12 inches that way, or maybe if they're lucky, a couple of foot that way and a couple of foot back that way. And the thing they go around, or the only obstacle that they have, is a water bowl. I could go on and on and on and on about this and say breeder snakes live a terrible life. And that may be my opinion and no one else's. I do believe there will be many others out there that are of the same belief. Just don't say it. Well, I'm going to say it. I don't know what you would say, but I've also looked at it that I wanted to be somebody that had videos of my snakes out and you seeing really just how much they enjoy it. And it's not about outside. It's not about outside. It's about outside in your home. It's about offering them all sorts of enrichment and mental stimulation to learn, to really, really learn. But the one thing that they really need to learn is to trust you first. That to me is one of the most important things you'll ever do. And I see so many defensive snakes being grabbed out, and I see some that aren't. I'm not going to say all of them are defensive, but I see a lot that aren't, and I shake my head and I think to myself, why aren't they? I would be, but some are born with a beautiful personality and a want, and are happy to get to know us, but they're ignored. And sometimes those snakes do end up becoming defensive that otherwise would not have become defensive in their lives. So that's what I wanted to say about breeding and breeder snakes and their life, and what life, really, in the scheme of it, what life to eat and breed and to supply all of us in the world with beautiful morphs. And I got questioned about that in my last video, and my comment was, in the end, no matter what, no matter the colour, the morph, the cost, it's a species. It's a species first. But it's a snake. And a snake is a snake. So guys, take care. I'm just going to say goodbye. Ciao.